everybody, thank you for coming. I am Dan, the Floor Heat Man, and I am here with my colleague Ezra. And today we are going to be installing NUHEAT custom mats, NUHEAT cable, and NUHEAT membrane. NUHEAT has been and will continue to be a leader in the electric radiant floor heating category based in Vancouver, Canada. It's common to say that in order to continue moving forward, you must first look back. So, in order to do that, I'd like to go over the evolution of floor heating. 40 years ago, there was a cable, and guys would string that out and put it in between two guides. Then about 35 years ago, a cable was put on a mesh, and they would roll that out and then cut the mesh and roll it back. That is still a viable option today. Then NUHEAT, 30 years ago, revolutionized the concept of a mat. They created a pre-built blanket that has even heat distribution because all of your wires are perfectly machine spaced to guarantee even install and ease of install. Now, about 3 years ago, you have an uncoupling membrane with a cable, and almost as if we go back 40 years ago, guys are starting to string cable again. Now, you do not have to start singing. However, it is NUHEAT's birthday. We are turning 30 this year, so maybe we can clap? All right. Why is that important? Well, if you're a contractor, you're a customer, you're a homeowner, you want to know that the product that's going to be underneath your tile floor is of quality. NUHEAT has a 25-year warranty. We have successfully outlasted our warranty. Therefore, we know that when we make you a mat, or we make you a cable, or we make you a mesh roll, or we make you an uncoupling membrane, that it will stand the test of time underneath your tile floor. So with that said, let's get into it. So what we're going to do first is we're going to be installing a NUHEAT cable with a NUHEAT membrane. And if everybody can see what we're doing here, we have a bathroom vanity, we have a floor vent, and this is going to be a shower. All right? So this is a mock-up of a bathroom. We have a toilet here. So this is kind of a standard bathroom. It's about 15 square feet. We're going to be doing this in cable, membrane, and we're also going to use the same layout for a NUHEAT custom mat. So with our NUHEAT membrane, what we're going to be doing is Ezra's going to show you that we would roll this out. Now this membrane comes in 3 different options. We've got a large roll, 161 square feet. We've got a small roll, 54 square feet. And then we also have this made in sheets, 39 inches by 39 inches. We've chosen to go with a roll today, and Ezra has already cut that to length of the room. And now what he's doing is Ezra is cutting out the membrane around the obstacles in the room. So when it comes to uncoupling membranes, there's a lot of different colors out there that you can choose from. I'm waiting for the rainbow color myself, but when it comes to the NUHEAT membrane, we're a gray membrane. We have passed the Robinson test to achieve the heavy, extra heavy rating. So now he's cutting around the shower. And while Ezra continues to do that, I think we're going to spin you off to the side, Ezra.
All right.
Ezra's going to continue cutting this membrane, and he's going to thin set it down while I show you what we have available in the NUHEAT custom mat. So let's go ahead and get that other piece of plywood. It's just down here.
Sure.
Did I hear a question?
Yes.
Why not put it in the shower? Well, we're going to pretend that that's a shower curb, and you absolutely can put it in a shower, but today we're just installing floor heating on the main primary bath floor. All right, great. Okay. So if I had a show of hands, has anybody ordered a NUHEAT custom mat before? Well, thank you very much. So we've got a couple guys in the back. What you would normally do to order a NUHEAT custom mat is we would walk into that room, we'd get a tape measure, piece of paper, and we'd go ahead and we'd measure the perimeter of that room. and send it up to NUHEAT to make that mat for us. Well, once again, being the leaders in the industry, what would be the next step? Anybody have any idea? So we're going to switch the monitors over. What's the next step? Everybody has an iPhone. It's in their pocket. It's on a job site. We are going to measure our custom mat via the camera on the cell phone and instantly build our mat on the job site. Sound like a good idea? All right, let's give it a try. So pardon the cord. The cord is only there to put it up on the monitor. So we're going to start at the vanity. Going to walk it out. Every time you come to an intersection, you're going to be able to snap that into the grid location. So once again, floor heating does not go around floor vents. Now, so what we've shown, if you kind of look back, you can see that we have a NUHEAT custom mat layout. We have 15 square feet, and right there we can go ahead and click submit and get that drawing right into NUHEAT to get that NUHEAT mat produced and made. Right here from your cell phone. What that would look like is, now that we have ordered that, out comes the NUHEAT mat, and that just so happens to be pre-built, pre-cut, just like an electric blanket in the shape that we've just walked around our room with our cell phone. All right, every time you take a NUHEAT mat out of the box, you want to dry fit it to the space. What that means is we just want to make sure that the mat is going to fit all of the angles that we've chosen for here. Now, a critical point when it comes to electric radiant floor heating that we at NUHEAT take a lot of pride. This goes back to being in business for 30 years. We know what does work. Most importantly, we know what doesn't work. And what doesn't work is giving 500 volts to a tile setter or 1,000 volts to a tile setter in a megameter. We do that testing for you at the NUHEAT factory, so we guarantee you when the product comes out of the box, either a cable kit or a mesh kit or a mat, we have already tested it with 1,000 volts. All of our NUHEAT product is line voltage, 120 or 240. So we've already tested it with 1,000. So all we require is a simple multimeter. Everybody see one of these? Used one before, comfortable? You want to chuck at me? I'm not an electrician, but anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to have our leads. This lead is going to be 10 feet long. On a custom mat, you get to choose where the lead is. As you'll see, once that's then set it down, the cable lead will be where the power comes out. You've chosen it here with the custom mat. So with this, all I'd want to do is go ahead and put 2 probes on the conductor, and what you can see is the ohms reading would be 76.3, and on our tag here we have 75.6. We know we're in that range. This is a good product. You can go back to that. You'd have an open line, or you can come back. Once again, this is testing the product out of the box, and then you'd know that the ohms is good. You're ready to go ahead and install. Now, I know that when we're on a job site, the electrician may do this, or the tile setter may do this. This device here is a great product to have on every one of your NUHEAT installs. This is a very cheap insurance policy to guarantee you're going to have a good day after you've installed electric radiant floor heating. What it is, it's the NUHEAT MatSense Pro. We're going to install this to be live on the end of each conductor If we were to have a bad day, which once again, we know that things do go bad, but if you were to have a bad day, this would alarm and go off, telling you to go ahead and stop. It's quiet. We've checked it with the multimeter. We've checked it to the tag. We're going to hang that off to the side, and we're going to go ahead and start thin setting this down. This mat is ready to be installed. So once we have dry fitted it, it's very common to be able to go into the corners of all your custom mat. Just make a notification of where you're going to be, so you know once you put your thin set down how far to be with your thin set. You can roll this mat back up. The NUHEAT mats come in 70 different squares and rectangles. The largest NUHEAT mat we have is 10 by 20 feet, if you can believe it. Let's just put that off to the side. We're friends. I'm going to steal some of his thin set. So all I'm doing here is I'm just spreading out thin set. When it comes to the NUHEAT mat, we're looking to put down any modified thin set. In addition to that, we require a 1/4 by 1/4 square notch trowel. With the membrane that Ezra's is installing right now, that would be a 1/4 by 3/8 square or U-notch. Pick your fancy.
From you?
Yep. All right, so now I'm just going to start scraping my lines. All right, we're almost ready to go ahead and put this mat down. And this is about as complicated as it gets with a NUHEAT mat. That's the beauty of NUHEAT. It's thin set, tile, thin set, NUHEAT, thin set, tile. That's it. There's no layers where you have to worry about letting it dry before.
Behind you, Dan.
It's meant to be simple. All right, let's go ahead and roll this NUHEAT mat into that wet thin set. Try to line it up where we had it before, so we're happy with it. Now, going back to the wires being machine spaced, as you can see here, they're all perfectly of the same distance away from each other. Why do we want that? It's for even heat distribution. We know that when we install a floor heat, we want to make sure that if a homeowner's on that floor, it's the same temperature here than if the person were to be over here. We can guarantee that with a NUHEAT custom mat. We are pre-building this like an electric blanket to fit this floor perfectly. Now, you have two options. You can either take a grout float and go ahead and tamp this in. On a job site, there might be a spare 2x4. I like to use my hand, and when you use your hand, your fingers fit perfectly in between the wires. Like other mats that are on the market, the thin set does not ooze through. So, oh man, I just ruined my shoes, but they're still clean. We want to make a strong mechanical bond to that subfloor. Our fabric is wicking So as you see, well, you can't, but where I did step and applied more pressure, there is a footprint of wet white thin set. When we thin set on top of that, we will make a strong bond from the bottom side of the tile through the NUHEAT mat to the bottom. Let me just finish pushing this down. All right, NUHEAT's installed. Your floor heat is done. Moving on to thinking about stringing your lines for set and tile. Let me show you what that looks like. So, wires, perfectly machine spaced, even heat distribution. Thickness of NUHEAT, 1/8 of an inch. We do not significantly raise the height of the floor. A lot of people want transitions to go from a curbless shower into their master bedroom, down a hallway. When you install radiant floor heating, that membrane over there is 1/4 inch tall. Depending on what your other floor covering may be, you might not have that elevation. With the NUHEAT mat, we are the thinnest in the industry, 1/8 of an inch, thin set, NUHEAT. Now, thin set, set tile. Any questions on the NUHEAT custom mat? I know I went quick. We had questions before. Anything else? Going once, going twice? All right, so we're done with radiant floor heating with custom NUHEAT mats. You move on, you make more money selling more jobs and making more money on more installs and setting your tile. You're done. Let's go back to our other install with cable and membrane. So Ezra's doing a great job. He's cut out the shower, he's cut out the floor vent, as you can see here, and he's just thin setting it down.
Thank you, Dan.
Oh yeah. So while he finishes that, now how do you control NUHEAT? I like to control things with my mind. However, when it comes to electric radiant floor heating, you want to control it with a leading of the top of the line NUHEAT thermostat. We are giving one today after the show, so you do unfortunately have to stick around and keep listening to me. The signature NUHEAT thermostat, only in the industry that can communicate with Google Assistant, IFT, Nest. Anybody want to shout out anything else they've seen on Amazon? What's that? Alexa, I heard. So yes, NUHEAT thermostat. If you want to have home automation with your radiant floor heating system, think NUHEAT signature. All right. We have membrane down in the exact same pattern that we have our NUHEAT custom mat. The same would go for us testing that. The NUHEAT mat, we would test this and we would go ahead and Ezra's gonna put on the MatSense Pro. We no longer need it over here. So let's grab that. Ezra's gonna put that on.
Thank you.
The NUHEAT cable, a lot of people think that the cable is just one diameter and we just cut it to any floor length. And that's not the case. In order to get the wattage output that you need for your floor, we have over 60 different diameters of copper that go into making the exact wattage per square foot that you're gonna need in that bathroom. So a lot of engineering goes behind a spool of cable. In this case, this is a 15 square foot cable. Now, like I said before, when I went through all of the different options of floor heating, this cable kit is still sold today, and there are some guys that like to string cable between guides. That's 3 inches on center. With the NUHEAT membrane, the 3 columns are not 3 inches, they're 3 3/4 of an inch. So in order to yield 12 watts a square foot over 15 square foot, we want to string this into this grid, 3 columns, then we're going to wrap around 2, then we're going to wrap around 3. That's called 3-2-3 spacing. You can come up to me later and say somebody told me it was 2-3-2 spacing, not 3-2-3, but that's later. All right, so when it comes to NUHEAT cable, this is called our cold lead. It's 10 feet long. It's the same length on all of our standard mats and our custom mats. We've installed the MatSense Pro. You guys hear anything? No? We must be good. So with cable, we're gonna always start at our power location. In this case, it's gonna be our thermostat location. So our thermostat in this bathroom is gonna be over here. So the lead wire, the lead connection that needs to be embedded in the floor clicks right into the NUHEAT membrane. You can immediately then start stringing this out. Ezra is demonstrating that the ease of installation when it comes to the cable is to push it in with a grout float. He's taking his fingers, he's wrapping around 3 lugs, and he's going the other way. Customizable. You become good at NUHEAT cable, you can make your own NUHEAT custom mat. The critical point is all of your wires need to be the same distance away from each other in your pattern. With being in the industry for such a long time, we have 3 different options for you, not just one. We know that if you alter spacing, you're gonna significantly change the performance of that floor heating. So what Ezra is doing is that 323, that's gonna give us our 12 watts a square foot. What if you're on concrete? What if you have a customer that wants a 3 seasons room where you're gonna have a lot of heat loss? What if you're on the north side? What if you have a customer that is really particular about a heat source in their space? You may want to go to more heat into that square footage of that floor. And in order to do that, you could get 15 watts a square foot out of the same cable kit. It's just you would wrap around every 2 columns versus the 3, 2, 3 across that floor. That will, of course, eat up more cable. So in our spec sheet, we show you, once you've chosen your heated area, then you choose the wattage per square foot that you would like, and then you go over, you pick that at square footage amount, and then there's a part number right there for you to be able to order from. Looking fantastic. Stringing it out. As we string this out, the NUHEAT box does have a hole in the middle of the box where you can put it in dowel and use the NUHEAT box as a cable dispenser. Having another guy on the job site is always helpful. Look how easy that is. All right. We are moving along. Ezra's doing a fantastic job making this grid work. So your key areas with electric radiant floor heating, you want to make sure that wherever your homeowner is going to want to feel that warmth, they have a floor heating product underneath their foot. Where is that critical? Standing in front of the vanity, 2 feet in front of the toilet, or that first magical step out of the shower and onto that tile floor where you would want a heated floor. We want to make sure those are the areas that are critical and that we have cable in front of all those. Great job, Ezra. We'll pick this up real quick and we'll just show you the grid that he's been working on, and that is 323 spacing with NUHEAT cable in a NUHEAT membrane. Do we have any questions? Great question. What's the difference with NUHEAT in a wet environment versus a dry environment? And to us, nothing. So all of our product is UL tested to be in a wet environment. Therefore, you can put the NUHEAT cable or the NUHEAT mat or the NUHEAT mesh system inside that shower floor to be able to give you that warmth. A little tip is if you're putting in a tile bench, heat the tile of the bench, then heat the tile shower floor, and then of course heat your bathroom floor. When it comes to the custom mat, we do have the capability of printing you off a mat that has the bench seat, a wire coming down the front, and then a mat in the middle of that shower with a hole where the drain would be. Yeah, so if it's cantilevered, it's a little bit more, we gotta get a wire down. Great question though. Yeah, you would just, if the wall that the cantilever bed is on As long as that's tiled, then we can put that wire in that tile wall to get down to the floor. Great question though, thank you for asking. Anybody else? Question in the back. I'm sorry, microphone was on its way.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Where are you going to find the guys that can do this job in the manner you just did it?
Where do you find them?
Yeah.
Okay. So in your neighborhood, there is a person just like me. Little bit not as presently appearing, but there is a guy just like me. There's a guy just like Ezra. I'm in Pennsylvania. He's in New York City. We have a guy in your backyard that will come to your job site and he will do what we call a NUHEAT certified training. And we will certify your contractor to know exactly what we did up here today and make him a certified pro to guarantee his installation on your job. So if you don't have one today, we do have an online search tool that you can type in your zip code and look at our contractors. If not, and you don't find one, give us a call. We will have and come to your job site or go to that contractor's place of business and train their staff to make sure that they know all the ins and outs, tips and tricks of installing NUHEAT. Good enough? I'm still waiting on that birthday cake with a candle. Okay, go ahead. Distance from a drain shower.
If we're using a lineal drain,
right?
Does that need to be a certain distance from that?
Right, great question, and no. So we want to make sure that the most important thing with floor heating is if I'm standing in that shower, I got to have NUHEAT underneath all of that foot. It's the best way to think about it. Then of course you don't want to put that wire underneath that linear drain, but I'm assuming I'm not an expert in linear drains. I'm assuming there's a flange that needs to be thin setted down before the tile comes on over that lip. You'd obviously want to be up to that flange or maybe an inch or two in front of it. But the most important thing is I'm going to be standing on these NUHEAT wires when I'm in that shower or in that environment. Go ahead. 2 minutes. All right. Anybody else? Questions? Go ahead.
Into the shower room? Or you need another cable?
Oh man, he's beating me up. Okay, great question. Can you run the same heating wire from the bathroom floor into the shower? Simple answer is yes. Because we're UL approved for a wet application. That might be a dry application. We can go in a wet environment. It might be best, what I recommend, is to have a separate heating system in that wet environment versus the environment that's going to be in the bathroom floor. And why? Well, you're just trying to sell me more stuff. I don't like you anymore. That's not the case. When it comes to plumbing, when it comes to a shower drain, 20 years down the road, that might be clogged, that might need to come out. If you rip that out and damage the heating cable, your whole system is done. If you have to remove too much heating cable. It can be repaired, but we would prefer not to. So, as just preliminary, we want to have a separate system outside and a separate system inside. And once again, we're 30 years old, so we know that when we give you a 25-year warranty, we know that we're going to be lasting 30, 40, 50 years. Answer your question? Right behind? We have 3. So we have an element. So if you have a heating system outside and inside, you would have 2 thermostats. Or you can run both of those wires back to the same device and have them come on at the same time. Yep, great question. All right, it looks like we're drying up. I want to thank everybody for your attendance and your participation. Really appreciate that. And at the same time, if you have any questions about NUHEAT, when it comes to cable and guides, when it comes to NUHEAT mesh, when it comes to NUHEAT standard mats or NUHEAT custom mats, there is a man over there waving, and he will be more than happy to assist you. That is the NUHEAT floor heating booth. Now, thank you for participating. We are raffling away a signature NUHEAT thermostat, top of the line. Am I picking from the bucket or are you?
Get your tickets out. Last 3 numbers only. 175. 175.
Over here. Nope. No, he's walking away. Oh, over here. All right. I thought it was the guy that got up and walked away. Once again, hey, thank you guys. Have a great show.